Romeo and Naomi were proud parents to a lively 6-year-old girl named Janet. With her bouncy curls and sparkling eyes, she was the joy of their lives. They had built a comfortable life, balancing work and family with ease. Trust was a pillar in their relationship, not just with each other but also with those they called family. So, when Naomi's distant cousin, Uncle Sam, moved to their city and offered to babysit Janet, they were relieved. He was charming, affectionate, and had a knack for making Janet laugh. What could possibly go wrong? Uncle Sam was everything Romeo and Naomi could have hoped for in a babysitter: reliable, patient, and great with children. He'd bring Janet little gifts, play games with her, and even helped with her homework. "Janet adores him," Naomi often remarked, smiling as she watched them play in the living room. Romeo agreed. It's good for her to bond with family. She needs that connection. Their trust was so complete that they never questioned his intentions, never felt the need to educate Janet about boundaries, body autonomy, or secrets. To them, Uncle Sam was family, and family could do no harm. Sam started coming over more frequently, often volunteering to watch Janet while Romeo and Naomi ran errands or went on date nights. At first, everything seemed normal. They'd hear laughter echoing through the house, see Janet's face light up with excitement when Sam arrived. But then, little things began to change. Janet became quieter, more withdrawn. She started clinging to her parents, especially when Sam was around. She'd flinch at his touch, even when he'd just pat her on the head. "Are you feeling okay, sweetheart?" Naomi asked one night, noticing Janet's unease. Janet nodded, avoiding her mother's gaze. "Yes, Mommy." But Naomi couldn't shake the feeling that something was off. She dismissed it, though, reasoning that Janet was just going through a phase. She never once suspected Sam. Sam's visits became more frequent, and his actions more calculated. He would whisper to Janet, his voice low and soothing. "This is our little secret, Janet. You don't want to make your parents sad, do you?" Janet would nod, her young mind unable to fully understand what was happening. Sam's touch felt wrong, but he was family. She trusted him, just as her parents did. The concept of secrets had always been fun for her, like when they planned surprises for birthdays. So, she kept quiet, not wanting to disappoint Uncle Sam or worry her parents. Naomi's unease grew. Janet's behavior became more erratic: nightmares, sudden bursts of anger, and a newfound fear of being alone. She also began wetting the bed, something she hadn't done since she was a toddler. Romeo was concerned but clueless. "Maybe she's stressed. School can be tough at this age." Naomi agreed, but her instincts told her it was more than just school. She tried asking Janet, but the little girl would only shake her head, eyes wide and fearful. One afternoon, Naomi came home earlier than expected. As she approached Janet's room, she heard hushed voices and the unmistakable sound of muffled crying. She pushed the door open to find Sam kneeling beside Janet, his hand gripping her arm tightly. "What's going on?" Naomi's voice was sharp, her eyes narrowing at Sam's startled expression. Sam quickly released Janet and stood up, forcing a smile. "Oh, we were just playing." Janet got scared, that's all. He laughed nervously, avoiding Naomi's piercing gaze. But Naomi wasn't convinced. She noticed the way Janet's shoulders trembled, her face pale and eyes red-rimmed from tears. "Janet, baby, are you okay?" Naomi's voice softened, her heart breaking at the sight of her daughter's fear. Janet looked up at her mother, her lip quivering. "He said, it was our secret." Naomi's words spun. Her chest tightened, and her hands shook as she pulled Janet into her arms. The truth was beginning to reveal itself, a truth too horrifying to fully grasp. Romeo was livid when Naomi told him. "How could he? We trusted him." He punched the wall, his anger mixing with guilt and betrayal. They confronted Sam, who denied everything, his demeanor shifting from defensive to pleading. But Janet's tears and trembling confession left no room for doubt. They reported him to the authorities. The betrayal cut deep, not just because it came from family but because they realized how vulnerable Janet had been. They had failed to protect her, failed to educate her about her body, about secrets, about trust. The guilt was overwhelming. Naomi would lie awake at night, replaying every interaction, every sign she missed. Romeo became distant, blaming himself for not questioning Sam's intentions. Their home, once filled with laughter, became heavy with silence and shame. Janet was enrolled in therapy, where she slowly began to heal. She learned to understand that what happened wasn't her fault, that secrets weren't always good, and that her voice mattered. Romeo and Naomi educated themselves, realizing how little they knew about child safety. They taught Janet about body autonomy, about safe and unsafe touches, and about the importance of speaking up. It took time, but Janet's spark returned. She started smiling again, laughing without fear. Romeo and Naomi worked on rebuilding their trust with her, vowing to never overlook the importance of communication and education again. They also began speaking out, sharing their story with others to raise awareness about child safety, the importance of teaching body autonomy, and the dangers of blind trust. Years later, Janet grew into a strong, confident young woman. She carried the scars of her past but didn't let them define her.